Hello and welcome to computer class. My name is Dave and today we are talking about the introduction to Microsoft Word. So before we get into that though, I wanted to explain what programs were in the Microsoft Office suite because this is the first lesson that I'm doing with Microsoft Office. And so when you get Microsoft Office 365, whatever version you get, you will get access to these programs. And the way that you do it is you go online to Microsoft365.com and you create an account and you pay as a subscription per year. And you can pay for as many licenses as you want. You can pay from anywhere from, I think, 1 to 5 to a million if you need it for a business. But needless to say, when you buy the Microsoft Office suite, you get access to these programs. So you get Word, which is a word processor used for making documents. You get PowerPoint, which is used as a slide presentation software on screens, sort of the one that I'm actually using now. I'm using slides, I'm using PowerPoint to teach about Word. Excel, which is a data crunching software used to make spreadsheets and things. Publisher, which is kind of a desktop production type piece of software used for creating cards and calendars and all sorts of things of the like. OneNote, obviously what it sounds like, taking notes. OneDrive is the cloud-based software by which you can store all the different pieces of Microsoft Office and sync them between computers. Outlook, that happens to be their mail software, and Access is their database software for Microsoft. Okay, so that's kind of an overview of the Microsoft Office suite. Now, when you jump into Microsoft Word, you will immediately land on this page. And the first thing you will see is on the side, if you've opened any documents in the past, you'll have something called Recent Document View. And that allows you to open up something that you may have in the past. And a lot of people think that this is actually how you access the files for Microsoft Office, and that's not true. I'm going to show you why. This is just showing what you've recently worked on. The problem is those people that work from this view all the time, once these documents move off of recent view, they don't know where they are. And so that's why it's important to have watched my previous lessons on how to use the computer so you can know how to store documents in files and folders correctly. Then, moving to the top, you have this pre-made templates and search category. And basically, Microsoft has given you a whole bunch of pre-made layouts for what you might need in documents. And if you can't see in the current view something you might need, you can always go up to the top and search for online templates. And you could then download and use maybe something like a pre-done book report layout or something like a mail merge or something like a calendar or some sort of the like cover page, something that you need. Okay. Up in the corner here, you will see that you are also signed into a specific account. And you can switch accounts, but mainly you usually sign into one Microsoft account. And again, you've purchased that already if you are taking this class at Microsoft365.com. Microsoft allows access to apps in the browser and stores the files on OneDrive, but the way that it connects the files to you is that you have to be signed in with your account. Now, mine is blurred out for obvious reasons. I don't want to show you my login. However, there it is. That's where you would sign into it if this was your login for the first time. All right. That being said, the software is laid out kind of like this. Up at the top, let me just grab my um, laser pointer. Up at the top, you have something called the Quick Access Toolbar, which is really helpful. You can click it and add things to it. You have the name of the document right there. And then you have a section here called the ribbon, and that happens to have file, home, insert, design, layout, reference, mailing, review, and view. All of these tabs across the top happen to be um, known as the ribbon collectively. Okay. And then you have something called the Tell Me Assistant, which is at the end of the ribbon there. Basically, you can type into Microsoft what you want to do, and it will basically handle that information for you. Okay, and then in the other corner, you have min, restore, close, comment, and share as a ability for this document. Down at the bottom, you have the number of words, which is super helpful to know. If you remember back when we talked about docs, you have to use tools to turn on and see the number of words that you've typed. You don't have to do that at Microsoft Word. It's automatically on by default right there at the bottom. And then the status bar tells you the status of your document. It tells you what view you're in. So you can switch between the different views, the reading modes, and you can also zoom in and zoom out at the bottom there. Okay. Then if you were to click on File right here, that is known as the Backstage view by pressing the File tab. That's exactly. And it also shows you a lot of documents either you have pinned or that you worked on in the past. It allows you to save the document and share it, stick it on your OneDrive, save it to this PC. This PC is incredibly important, knowing how to use that. And so now I actually want to jump into the software. Now we got through those PowerPoints real fast. So double click Microsoft Word there. All right, so let's see actually what we were talking about here. Here we have the different tabs across the top. We have File, we have Home. Home is exactly what you might think it is. If you can't find something, it's the general layout. It's the general use. Everything's in Home. Like for instance, your fonts. It's the stuff you use the most. If you think about when you go home, you have the stuff that you use the most. And so I would encourage you to think about Microsoft Word that way. That's how they think of it. If you press Insert, anything you're inserting, such as a shape or an icon or a picture or a table, something of that nature will be in the insert section. And then the design section helps you format and create this nice looking, beautiful, brilliant document with colors and things, and if you need watermarks and different things. Layout then is associated with your size of your document, your orientation of your document, your margins, your indentations, just the general layout of things. References has to do with citing your footnoting, your bibliography, managing your sources that are on the page if you do those things for a research paper. Mailings has to do, we're not really going to talk a ton about this. This has to do with doing mail merge and doing labels and envelopes and things like that. Review, going over thesaurus was incredibly helpful. I use this thesaurus constantly. Things like read aloud and accessibility and commenting and different other things. View then has to do with the different views that you can do things, multiple page, side view, turning on your rulers, your grids, your guides. Help is obviously what you'd think it would be, or by pressing F1, you can get a hold of all the different support from Microsoft. And then if you have Adobe, I think this is an add-on, it will also sync up with it. Okay, so that's kind of the basis of Microsoft Office. If you were to lay things out, this is a huge introduction to the software just to try to get you used to what do you do on Microsoft. And I want to explain something real fast. So let's actually do File and do a new document. Okay, so click the File tab, go down to the new document, and let's search for, maybe we can find it if we just scroll down. Oh, let's just grab this one right here. That's fine. So let's click the template and hit create. Okay, and it'll just bring this automatically in. I'm going to hit close on that. And here is a title page for a research paper as an example. So let me just say, research paper, right? Whatever we're doing. Okay, so there's our research paper. Dave, course, computers, date, 12/3. And if you press enter, ooh, that's cool. Just drops it in. Research paper. All right, so we filled in some information there. If you wanted to save this document, notice up here at the top, and this is really important, a lot of people just leave this, 1, 2, 3, and Microsoft as it saves will count up in number. But in order to save this document, what you want to do, you can turn on autosave when you save it to your OneDrive, or you could hit File if you want to save it to this computer, and hit Save As. Now the difference between save and save as is simple, really. Save as is the first time you save the document. Save is every subsequent time you save the document. So you could use Control S for the second time you save the document. For the first time you press Save As, I'm going to double click this PC, and then I'm going to save this research paper template to my desktop or documents or wherever you want to save it. I'm going to hit save. And now notice it says save to this PC. Now I could also save it to my OneDrive, and there's ways to do that too, so that this autosave would turn on, which is pretty cool. It'll automatically save, kind of like Google Docs. But for right now, I just wanted to save it to this PC, which is what the majority of people are going to do. And you'll notice it's counting the number of words down there. I can change the different views if I want to see this differently. If I hit focus, it will just give it all in one screen, which is pretty cool. I can zoom in, zoom out just exactly like we talked about. So there we go. And back to page view. So it's even got a header. That's pretty helpful. Okay. And again, I could start inserting stuff or designing this, laying it out, references, doing review, looking at the thesaurus, and getting help. Don't forget you have your you have your search feature here where you can find out information to Tell Me Assistant. And also you have your account right up in here that you have to have signed in for the program to work. All right. So hopefully this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video.